Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
The day I met Bullhornbetty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the Laundrie's home. I began to document them, and little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us, even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose, even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who were silenced. Our next case, we search for Paula Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paula's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belong to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. head over to the Bullhornbetty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhornbetty channel. Welcome to the Bullhornbetty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good morning, YouTube. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. I cannot believe it's freaking Thursday. I swear, I feel like it's Sunday. I feel like the week is about to begin. It's been a crazy week. We've heard a lot of crazy stuff. You know, we're not hearing a lot of stuff from the people we should be hearing stuff from, law enforcement. We're just going to sit here and twiddle our thumbs all the way until November 1st, apparently. No response from law enforcement whatsoever, no response from anybody related to the findings of Adventures with Purpose. And this is just making a lot of our heads spin, quite frankly. This chat's been filling up as well as a lot of other chats. People just really trying to find any scintilla of information related to this case or potentially who done it. We don't know. I can tell you many people are really digging in and good things are kind of coming out of all of this for our benefit, not necessarily anybody else's, but definitely the public at large. So it's kind of, every day I get up, I find something new that I didn't know, or I see something that kind of puts something else in perspective. And I have to be honest with you. Well, before I do that, let me just go. I'm going to go ahead and say good morning to some of the regulars in here now that, it's been a little crazy in here for the last week. And I haven't had an opportunity to talk to my people, right? The ones that come here every day. I'm so thankful for all the new ones that have joined the family, the coffee club family. But, we are a tight-knit group. And as many of you know, hopefully you're enjoying yourself in the chat. This is YouTube. So you have to be careful about the trolls on here. There are people that intentionally do things to gaslight. They intentionally do things to misinform people. So we do our best right here to inform you and, to keep some stuff factual. But of course, this is the Bullhornbetty channel. So we do speculate. We do enter, we realize that there's a lot of conjecture on here and we provide our opinions based on what we have. Originally, when this all came out, for those that are just tuning in, I was on Team Accident. Since the findings of Adventures with Purpose, I am now Team Foul Play. So it does matter, facts matter. Her being in the hatch of her vehicle is alarming to many people. I mean, we've watched, I'm sure I'm not the only channel you guys are going to, right? Many people have brought up the car sinking. We've done that on this channel. I actually have to be honest with you. I was kind of surprised how long it took it to sink. Anyways, so good morning, Anissa, the first in here to say good morning, followed by Texaholic. We got John Joe Flannery, Karen Davis, ZZT, nice to see you. Mama Llama. Let's see, Crazy Nurse, nice to see you. We have a lot of new faces in here. Nancy B, Ruby, nice to see you. So hopefully, I was looking at everything, and it looks like a lot of people stayed up late last night. I don't know if you guys know, but I got to hang out with Ryan Upchurch this morning, early, the wee hours of morning. It was kind of cool. That's the second time I actually got to, obviously he was on here, but that's the second time. I have to be honest with you. The guy is chill. He's just chill. And I have to think that his heart is in the right place. Because why else would he still be out there, advocating for, Kiely Rodni? And he's just, he's wanting to get to the bottom of things too. Every time he goes in there, he's curious as to what people are saying. I mean, I don't necessarily think he's there to hang out with, like, I don't think he came on here to hang out with me. I think he came here to kind of people to hear his position from his own words, without all the noise. And I really truly believe that he was on here looking at people's comments, trying to find any information that he can. I find that here lately, while I'm watching other creators on YouTube, I have a pad of paper with me in every single room right now. Like literally every single room, I have a pad of paper. It's on my bed. It's on my dining table. I have a pad of paper on my, and it's when I'm there and we see a chat and people are conversating or people are telling stuff, I'm making notes of that. Some people, you'll see me go in there and say hi, and you guys will be saying hi back, and I'm not really responding. It's because I'm reading, and I'm still there. So I get it. But there's some before we get into the timeline, there's some stuff that I just found that I kind of found a little odd. For example, who knew that it appears that Kate has now changed her hair color? It appears that Kate is now a nice brown-headed girl. She's no longer blonde. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It makes you wonder, why did she change her hair color? I think maybe it's because people were mistaken for Kiely. I mean, there's a couple of shots there that we mistaken for Kiely. I found this a little weird too. Have you guys seen this? This is a comment. It says, "It's been a minute. How's everyone doing?" And somebody 2 weeks ago said, "Watched her sink." And a couple other people were talking, and it said, and then 30 weeks ago, prior to this, when somebody was asking how everybody's doing, this person says 30 weeks ago, Fight Club Friday, ? So it sounds like this was a regular, these play fights that they do, or, where they, I can't remember the terminology Sammy used. What did she call it? It wasn't like play fight or something, or, I don't know, but I thought that was weird. Somebody says, watched her sink. That's just, it's sickening. And if these are pranks, these types of pranks kind of suck. I have to be honest with you. I never in my wildest dreams as a child, or a teenager or even a young adult, while I was, I had my own problems anyways. I wasn't really plugged into all the teen stuff. I had my own, like I said, long story short. But never in my wildest dreams thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to go over here and say something salacious on this, gaslight people, trigger people. Did this person really watch that? Like, watched her? Like, did people stand around and watch this happen? Did they stand around and watch this happen? It's just, some of this stuff is insane. It's crazy. Here's from I think this is our beloved Don B. I have to think this is our beloved Don B. Right here that made this post that I thought was pretty cool because it was informative. Sorry, I'm doing something here. I was posting the link at the top, and it says, I read communications between individuals who reside in Truckee last night. Your information, according to a many is correct about Sammy lawyering up. They also elaborated, Sammy was also taken in for interrogation recently. I had kept what I learned under the apron until today when I see honest creators speaking about it. Thank you. What does it say? Thank you always for being the best, Missouri Mama. Okay, Sippin' Tea, if you want to go ahead and kill your camera, you can. I'll go ahead and bring you up. Or Tea Sippin'. Tea Sippin' Mama. Sorry, I'm like, Sippin' Tea.
That's okay. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing, hun?
I'm good. I have a question, and I haven't got a clear answer on it.
I will try. This case, I may not have a clear answer for you either.
Every day there's something new, or if not multiple new things. I have a question. Where did the seatbelt in the hatchback theory come from?
Oh, great question. I can show you that. Hold on a second. It's because Adventures with Purpose, we all know, recorded that. We saw it, the video.
Right.
But I think, we have to remember, I don't know if they did it by accident or did it on purpose, but Adventures with Purpose is YouTubers, and we're YouTubers,
Right.
and they know how we work. And it seemed like they gave us enough information in that video. If
They gave you guys hints to.
And they didn't give us hints. It's just they know that we're going to overanalyze every little detail. So what had happened is, in our overanalyzation, somebody realized a strap is hanging out the back of the hatch.
Gotcha.
And they took a picture of it, and because it looked odd, and everybody's looking at this, analyzing it. I don't think anybody thought this was a strap at first, because people were looking and posting like they thought the axle was broke, and they were looking at the undercarriage and see, just over analyzing this in every aspect. I think somebody may have thought that was a broken piece and started really looking into it, and like, is this damage to the car, or is this something else? And then realized what they were looking at, and then all of a sudden, but see, what we heard out the gate, like literally the day that they found Kiely, rumors started going crazy across the internet that she was tied up in the back. That's what we were hearing. She was tied up. And now that we see the seatbelt, I think that, it's the case of telephone. Yes, she, when we heard tied up, we naturally thought she was bound in the back, like, around her wrists and
right, right.
Bound, tied up.
Right.
This does make sense that they had that seatbelt or that strap, that cargo strap. Maybe that's what they were talking about when they saw it, how it was pinned into the hatch, that it was, keeping her in place.
Aren't those straps? I'm sorry, I live on a busy road. Aren't those typically like a regular seatbelt where they're wound up in the little side?
I was asking that because I've got the latches, the cargo latches in my vehicle, but I didn't have the cargo straps. Now, I don't know if they came with the vehicle when it was brand new, because I didn't purchase my vehicle new.
Okay.
But I also heard that, back then some of those didn't come with the attachments, but I heard, again, I didn't look into this,
right,
that the CRV actually comes with those straps in the back. So it is possible that that's not the seatbelt coming through, that actually is one of the cargo straps. They both have the same exact material to make both of them. So it's one or the other, but either way, it does look like it was intentionally done to keep her in place.
That's sad. That's really sad. And another thing I noticed, I talked on Dolly's show the other night, but if you look up the model of the car, the width of the passenger and driver side windows is larger than the area where the theory is she went over the seats and into the hatch.
There's no, even think about it. Even if you're in dark water, she had to have known that window was either one down. If she was, if we were to go with that theory, let's just walk through the whole thing and play the tape through.
Right.
So, for example, that window was either broken or down. Either, it appears that it was done prior to it entering the water. I don't know one way or the other. But even if it wasn't, at some point she had to have known that the glass was broken because water was coming in. You would think that she would naturally go across and out the open window that she can fit through just fine, as opposed to going all the way to the back. I mean, she lives in an area that people drive into water. I'm sure that, at their schools, they've probably talked about, escaping a car that's
right, because they have avalanches and everything else there. So yeah.
Right. So they're probably already taught,
yes,
things about this. So I don't see somebody that is as smart as she is, and not just smart, but outdoor smart, because she's lived in that outdoorsy area for so long. It's her lifestyle. It's like the back of her hand. It's, and so I just don't see, I don't know. I just don't see her not knowing doing all this. I don't see her going to the back of the car. I don't see somebody.
I don't either.
I mean, even me, as terrified as I would be, you know, the shock, because
if you're in shock, you're gonna get out anywhere.
That's not necessarily true. Sometimes you can freeze. You can shock so bad you literally freeze.
Yeah, that's true. You
and I have
just stop everything.
Mm-hmm. Because I have a situation that happened to me one time. Many of you guys know I had dogs, and you know, I was running maybe you don't. So there's a lot of people in here that are new to me, so they don't really know a lot about me. But I owned a business with my ex-husband that did drywall repair. And so we had trailers and stuff like that. One was like a dump trailer. It was kind of old, rusty and stuff like that, but we put it in the backyard. And on a particular day, we had a job. I went to work, throw the dogs in the backyard so they could run and play, you know, not be stuffed up in the house.
Yes.
And one of the trailer, piece of rust on the bottom, I guess they dug up under the trailer. And I guess when she stood up, she must have stood up really quickly. And one of the pieces of the shards went into her skin and actually lifted her skin off of her bone. It's kind of, so, you know, it was really painful for her. But I did realize, like, when I found out it happened, I went in, like, I literally was in shock to the point I couldn't think. Right. I was free. Like, she was sweet. She wasn't crying or she didn't appear injured. But when I saw it, I freaked the F out. Like, I'm standing there. I couldn't think. I had a phone in my hand and I couldn't even figure out the number that I wanted to dial. Like, I was literally petrified because I thought, you know, she was fine, but, you know, she had to get stitches, but I was scared she was going to die because I've never experienced this before.
Right.
Petrified. I literally went into shock where I froze for literally, it doesn't sound long, but 60 seconds when you're frozen seems like eternity.
That's a long time in your mind.
It is. It was just, but I remember that, and you know, it cost over $1,000 to get her a few stitches, but you know, it was just the shock of her being injured.
Yeah.
You know?
And I didn't think about it, like you said too, if she was dumped at night, it would be dark.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't
really dark.
And because there's no lighting around there. Another thing that I find very odd is, why does Kiely and Sammy look so much alike?
Actually, I think there's just a few angles where they look alike, because I've seen Kate. Now, did you say Sammy and who did you say looked alike?
Kiely and Sammy.
Kiely and Sammy. I didn't really think they looked alike. I actually thought some angles of Kate looked more similar to Kiely than Sammy. But, you know, it is possible that certain angles of their face are taken in certain angles. I'm sure that they probably could resemble.
Yeah. And, well, I just thought that, and then the AWP video came out and the tow truck guy, and I was thinking to myself, well, I wonder if he really saw Sammy and not Kiely.
Yeah, he saw somebody. He definitely saw somebody. And I'm, you know, everybody, I haven't gotten to the point yet where I truly believe that, you know, Kiely's car was over at the Boca Reservoir. I mean, I know that he was put in that video. I don't disagree with Adventures with Purpose. I think his information, especially with hindsight and her being strapped and, you know, the things that he said in his statement really sound eerily similar to some of the findings with Kiely. But
that, you know, anybody could have had that knowledge by then.
Yeah, exactly. And he's he's still a young guy, you know, he's in that area. I'm sure he knows people from the area. You know, I don't know. Could it have been a mistaken identity? Could it have been somebody in her car? I mean,
that's what I'm leaning more towards, or maybe not even her in the same exact car. The only way we would know is if we saw the footage from the vehicle, which I don't think that the boss or whoever owns the company he works for is going to release it.
Yeah.
Because that could be a liability or whatever. But
Yeah,
those
but
are,
I don't think it'd be a liability, but I would definitely think that law enforcement would want that, especially if it is her or is somebody connected with her or was her car. I'm pretty sure that they would definitely not want that at all,
public.
publicized, because
Right.
it really
Well, I
does
think
try to
that
go to the integrity of the investigation.
they just found the laptop that kid on the paddleboard. I seen it last night.
Mhm.
It blows my mind. Okay, so there was the law enforcement, and they said 17 different agency teams.
Yep.
I think that all 18 of them, including the local law enforcement, have failed because they didn't. How could a kid go out there in a car with his dog and just find multiple things that make a big difference in this case?
Well, here's what, many of you guys know that we followed Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. Our team was the first out there at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, literally 20 minutes after they opened that park back up. And we located where the scene happened out there where Brian Laundrie was. When we were doing one of our searches, we had found some things out there. This wasn't the immediate search when we first got there and located him. This was like several days later. We got a tip that there were some bones out there. They wanted us to go out and look at them. So we went out there to look at these bones, and we called law enforcement because we found some other stuff. But when we went into on the backside of where Brian was found, we found a water bottle. And everybody tried to say that we planted this water bottle, and we had law enforcement there with us. We had Mike Ruiz. If you guys don't know who Mike Ruiz is, he's with Fox News. We were all out there, and there was not only just one deputy out there. There was his sergeant out there with us too when we actually found this bottle, and they didn't even want to take it. Like they didn't even want to take it. And then we had to blow it up, on Twitter because the spokesman came out and said, "Oh, yeah, there were some people that called, said they found some evidence out there, but it managed to be fruitless or something like that." And at this time, we were out there and we couldn't get internet out there, so it wasn't until we got to a place where we could get internet. And we started sleuthing, and we realized this was her bottle, and we just started twittering. I mean, all of us just started hammering them with Twitters. It's like, you guys left evidence out there, like evidence in the search area, and evidence that we can prove links back to Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, and you guys didn't take it. So you know what? Finally, after an hour back and forth, I guess the FBI called Northport Police and told them, no, you need to get that collected. So we had to go and drive it up there and release it to them. And so this, I have seen in the search area with FBI on scene, this kind of stuff happening because I experienced myself.
It's just sad. I mean, they're supposed to protect us and, but there's solid evidence of things left behind. And everybody can say, well, maybe they're keeping it closed to the public. Yeah, well, they're still doing a crappy job because her computer.
Think about this, T-Sip and Mama. Think about this. This child lost her life. Her family is grieving.
Right.
Grieving. And now they're having to read in the newspaper and on the news, slicing that wound even deeper as they watch their child's crap from her car wash up on shore.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would be devastated.
Like, I would be absolutely heartbroken and devastated. I would be angry.
Yeah.
And not only that, but a computer, like even computers underwater, yes, they get damaged. I get it.
Right.
But we're talking about the FBI having some of the best technology to at least get something off of it. What if something valuable was on there, or maybe some person she was supposed to meet there?
Because doesn't computer have I don't have a MacBook or anything like that, but I have an iPhone and an iPad. Is it the same? Like you link your phone to your computer, so there's text messages and FaceTimes and all of that on there?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so that would be a big deal, that there could be potentially something on there, because as of right now, there's no phone.
Yeah. I don't get it. And it's just really sad that her family has to now watch her belongings. And I called it crap, and I didn't mean to call it crap because it's really not crap.
I know what you meant.
but her belongings are washing up on shore. They just lost their child. I have to think that they would have expected to get some things back
Of
from
her
that.
belongings. Yeah. So they could have something. I agree.
Mimi, you can go ahead and kill your camera. I'm going to bring you up.
Well, thank you so much. I don't want to take any more of your time, but thank you for having me up, and I appreciate you answering my questions.
Oh, no problem. Hopefully I clarified some
Yeah,
for
you
you.
did.
I mean, I'm just as lost as many other people. I mean, I try to read all this stuff, and there's stuff pouring in and pouring in and pouring in. And you have to vet it. It's not like you can just, we always get caught with our pants down when we just run with stories that we're finding.
I know, but sometimes evidence doesn't lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you have a good day, and I'm going to hop down.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, hello there.
Hello, good morning.
You don't know who Mickey, the ranch woman is? It is Mama Bullhorn.
Amen, sister.
So what's shaking bacon? What's going on, babe?
Well, I've been watching you since you were born, but the timeline, and
yeah, I haven't even gotten to that yet.
I'm so
right here though.
I'm so sleep deprived because I watched Dolly. I fell asleep.
Did you see me hanging out with Upchurch this morning?
Yes.
Were you in the chat with Mama Bullhorn and Dollyvision's chat this morning? What?
I was just watching, but yesterday I was at the nail salon watching you, and everybody was watching me watching you. There was something, one of your guests pointed out that they think Sammy is the mouthpiece of her parents. Now, I was thinking, first of all, from day one, I said, the minute I saw Sammy in front of the camera, I said, she's up to something. Because
Mamas know, right?
Gut feeling. This girl is up to something. She's into something. And then all the stuff came out that she had the booze, she had the shrooms, and I'm going, bingo. But then I found out her mother was an attorney and her dad's a PI. And and I just hit the roof.
It sounds like both of them might be attorneys. It's just one of them is more of an investigator.
Yeah, but your stepdad wanted to know what the hell I was yelling about. And I'm going, she is guilty. She's guilty of something. And then I said, her parents are controlling. When they had those teen meetings, I'm going, oh, hell no, because that's considered tampering with evidence.
So you must have been coming unglued when you heard your daughter up here saying, oh, I did, no problem with that. Let them do it. You were probably biting your nails and saying, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, with your legal background, I'm thinking, what the heck? But I was on team, the team that was suspicious, the suspicious team from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for about 2 days, I thought, oh my God, she drove her car into the lake, drunk, blah, blah, blah. And then after...
Well, you remember Will and everything, that's why I, naturally took the side of it's an accident.
Well, did you tell the whole story about Will?
I didn't because I didn't want people to start sleuthing and I didn't want to cause, any problems with anybody,
Well,
so.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
It was on Mother's Day. But I think now that one guest mentioned it, that makes sense that Sammy became the mouthpiece of her parents because her parents were looking for evidence to protect Sammy.
I
And
bet you she had to have gone home. You know, the rumors that we heard out at the beginning, I bet you weren't rumors. And even Adventures with Purpose read that text message on their documentary where they said, you know, these rumors may not be rumors. They may be information to help you solve this case. And we were hearing some stuff up front. It's primarily Sammy coming out or was wet. And I'm thinking if Sammy was wet and went home, I'm sure she was freaking out. And her parents knew something was wrong and asked them. And they sat there that night and figured out what she needed to do.
absolutely. And the thing about getting old is you lose your train of thought. But back on Sam.
How does it make you feel to know I'm turning 43, Mom? Never mind. You can answer that later.
You got me. Well, you've got an older sister. People don't know that, and she'll be
keep that hush hush. We don't need trolls going in there too.
She's.
I hope you told her that if anybody calls, just tell them she doesn't know me. The whole family knows if anybody calls them and they say, "Do you Who? I don't know who she is."
Dude, I got a phone call from Arkansas yesterday, and it was a congressman wanting my vote, and I'm going, I don't live in Arkansas.
Right.
But back to Sammy and the hiding. I think they should be arrested, the whole family, because they collected evidence. And as far as we know, they didn't turn it into the sheriff. Oh, and the other thing is, I think this is going to be a Candace Wells situation.
Might be. It might be. I don't know. I can tell you right now, I swear to you right now, if they deem this an accident and don't hold anybody accountable, because, you know, if she was strapped in before being introduced to the water, that was an intentional act, in my opinion. That absolves any kind of accident, any kind of collision. It was intentional, and there was a body in the back. Sorry. If you know, but if for any reason it is labeled an accident and nobody's held accountable, I am going to California and I am going to raise hell with my bullhorn. Do I have Mama Bullhorn's you know, permission to go on a field trip?
A dynamic duo, because oh my gosh.
What? Are we gonna get Mama Bullhorn with a bullhorn? What? Mind blown.
Oh, your stepdad would block me in my room.
Hey, you never know. We might actually talk to him. You remember, he's got a daughter too, and he's a Marine, and he's gonna be saying, "Oh hell no." He don't play.
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't. There's no gray area with that man.
Yeah,
but the suspicious part is, from the moment I heard they were having teen meetings, those two girls, Mags and Sammy, I'm going, oh my God. And then you started hearing about all the pictures are gone, all the videos are gone. I said, this girl is doing a Candace Wells. She's destroying evidence out of ignorance. And then I got to thinking, oh, heck, her parents are
Think how clever she was.
Yeah. And the sheriff, I wanted to get to that. We've got the same situation in Truckee as we do in Rogersville.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
There are some similarities. Absolutely. Absolutely. How does it, well, as a mom, okay, as a mom, how, if you know, there was a time when you did almost lose me. Let's not, you know, it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So as a mom, how would it feel to lose your child and then start seeing their belongings wash upon shore because somebody didn't do their job appropriately?
I would be using my Louisville Slugger on something. I'll tell you what, people don't understand. You have seen the worst and you're on the way to the very best. I'm so very proud of you. You would run away. Let me rephrase this. We were very well, we lived in a nice house. We had nice cars. You girls never suffered for anything. And when you were little, you had a au pair. But what I'm saying is, you would run away for 2 weeks at a time and actually sell the shoes off your feet and the clothes off your back to have something to eat. And I swore I would never let that happen again. But when you got into the drugs, I remember one night, I found out where you were. You were in a crack house. You remember Big Fats in the 74 blue Cadillac?
No, that was when I was 16. I wasn't in those heavy drugs then. I was drinking too much.
Well,
yeah, there was that
well,
back then where you're talking about oh hell, I can't remember. He passed away, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but I was way too young for all that hard stuff. We weren't doing hard stuff like that back then.
But
we were smoking pot.
The fact is, you were hanging out with the people that were hanging out.
Yeah, that's true. We were hanging out with dealers.
When I found out where you were, it was 11:30 at night, and it was in a very bad area, and it was a very bad house that was well known. And I pull up, I get out with my Louisville Slugger, and I go to the front door and I bang on the door, and this guy, I said, "I'm Andra's mom. I'm here to get Andra." "I don't know any Andra." I could see slap through the house, and you were climbing the fence in the backyard, trying to get over the fence. Every 5 foot 1 inch of you. About that time, Big Fats pulls up in his 74 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, and he gets out. "Mama, I'll get her." And he goes around the back of the house. Now, this guy weighed 400 pounds. He was 6 feet tall. He comes around. He's got you over his shoulder with one arm. And I opened the car door and put you in it, ran around, and he says, "I got her. She's not going nowhere." And you kicked my windshield out.
We didn't kick windshield. When did your windshield get kicked out?
You kicked it so hard, it broke.
Okay.
And that was the night I drove you to the sheriff's office. I had to show tough love. I drove you up to the sheriff's office, up the freaking handicap ramp, and out came one of the Garst boys, who was a deputy.
But you weren't one of those parents that gave me a free pass either. I was held accountable for my actions when I was younger.
That's exactly right. And I drove you up that handicap ramp right to the doors, and they were coming out to arrest me. And I said, "Here she is," because you were one of the most wanted juveniles in our county.
I was hands down troubled child. Problem child, went through the motions. I went from the pit of despair, and here I am. It was a journey. And
I was there every step of the way. And that's what I'm saying. These parents, there's a time not to be the best friend. There's a time to be a parent and dish out or let the punishment fall where it may. And then there's a time to be the best friend. Right. And I think right now is the time to be your best friend. Right. But when you needed it, you got it, honey. You got it. But I was always there with a shoulder. Yep. And
mamas never go nowhere.
And I'm telling you, we had some tough times.
Yep.
And
all those tough times, the ending product, not too bad.
No, and
I'm well versed, got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, you honey, are a jack of all trades. Me, I'm a jack of all trades. But you are literally a jack of all trades. So I'm very proud of you.
Just about anything.
I'm so very proud of you. But I do agree wholeheartedly that Sammy knows a heck of a lot. I think she's dragging Mags along to give her credibility.
Yeah. That's what I thought too, because Max truly was Kylie's best friend. I keep wondering if Max and Sammy are still friends. You know, I wonder if they now turned on her and said, "We've got enough information to know that you had something to do with it." I wonder, because you're not seeing any of them. And I got to tell you, I have been working nonstop to try to find everybody's account is locked down in private.
Yeah, I think Sammy was smart enough to team up with Mags to give her credibility and
help lock everybody down.
And on Dolly last night, somebody mentioned the interview with Dreamcatcher.
Mama, you were paying attention. I think Dollyvision's got a fan. What? I thought I was your biggest fan.
I was drinking coffee at 12 o'clock midnight. So she said, or he said, I can't remember. Yeah, it was a guy. He said when she did the video interview with Dreamcatcher, she was telling them, yeah, I left. I was riding with someone I had gotten a ride with. And I caught that very morning. I caught that. And I go, you little rat, you're lying. Oh, and I have a book for you. It's how
to get away with murder.
No, it's called The Yes Factor. And
was it authored by Sammy Smith?
No, it's all about body language.
I got one. One of our people that was in here, her name was Patricia Sell. She sent me a body language book from that Chase Hughes. It's been very interesting.
Well, this is written by a gal with a PhD, but what I wanted to say is, in that book, it tells you some of the eye movements, and you step back or you lean on one foot, you don't stand squarely on another foot. And if you ever scratch the back of your neck, that's but
not necessarily, because people have tics. Like even with me on here, when I'm like, I get more comfortable. I know to lace my hands, but when things are moving or I'm getting emotional, my hands have to it's like I have to do stuff with my hands. It doesn't mean I'm being deceptive or anything. And actually, I also noticed another character flaw about me. What? I over-explain because I'm so used to having to give people back history in order to get to my point that I over-explain. And that can actually be misconstrued as convincing language.
Oh, you inherited that. You know who pointed that out to me? Is your baby sister. She says, Mom, you're going into too much detail. That's a sign it's a lie.
Yeah, I always, I think it's just because I, just being in the politics and not talking to people and people not knowing, you always have to give them the back history. And even these cases, some of the people are coming here for the first time and they're like, who's Kiely Rodni? So you always have to give the back history. She's a 16-year-old girl that disappeared on August 5th. She went to a party that went into August 6th, and last ping here. So you have to kind of give. And I think it's just by my business, by what I do that I don't know, but I do it in my personal life either as well. I can't just answer a question yes or no anymore. It's like I gotta explain to you why I'm getting to the yes. I think I'm a YouTuber.
Here I have another brain fart. Back to Kiely. I do believe it was either alcohol or drugs. And I do not believe, I'm sorry, that there was someone blocking the road. Why else how else could all those cars exit so fast if somebody was blocking the road?
Right.
And another thing.
Yeah, it says right here, 2 boys, they cross it out, they redacted, it's at 12:40. They say 2 boys, high school juniors, start yelling at each other and were about to fight but didn't. I walk away and the others blocked off the main road with this vehicle and started playing music. No one could have left the main way after this. So it makes you wonder, what were those boys fighting about? It never talks, and they were from they're juniors in high school, and these 2 boys were yelling back and forth, and I keep wondering what for, because this is in and around that time that's concerning for me. Were they fighting because of what they saw, what they did?
Well, that's the other thing. I think I've told you way in the beginning of this. If they were over in the Prosser family campground property partying, they were in close proximity of the lake.
They were 300 yards from it.
Huh?
They were only 300 yards from it.
I know. How in the hell could they not hear the damn car go in the water?
Well, think about it. If you have some music playing and you're pushing a car in, you're not hearing a big crash into the water. And even if you hear a big crash in the water from 300 yards away, would that be what you knew as a car being introduced to water? Many of us don't know what it sounds like to have a car enter a water, to identify that. If they heard something, they may have thought it was a big fish or something like that.
Well, let's put it up. In my opinion, if the motor was running, it makes a high, when it hits the water and all the belts start getting wet, it makes a very high-pitched sound.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I watched the videos and I didn't hear that sound happening.
I don't think those videos have sound.
I think they. Well, I have to look at them.
But anyways, I can sit on like this morning, I can sit on my back patio, pool patio. I heard a gator go in the water on the pond behind our house. I'm going, oh, it's time to come.
Yes, but in all fairness, you're out there in solitude. There's not crazy music going on. There's not 400 children in the background. You're in a peaceful, pristine, quiet community that's right there. You can hear that stuff go in, but would you be able to hear it if you had techno music on, 400 drunk kids out there screaming and yelling and all this other stuff? Would it be, over and above that, all that noise? Would you really be? I really believe it was a few people that know exactly what happened and were there and witnessed it. But I believe everybody else is just, wasn't paying attention. But I do believe there is a handful or 2 handfuls of people that know what happened.
Oh, and someone else last night on Dollyvision mentioned Woo and the fact Sammy's parents, in small towns, I grew up in a small town, there was a lot of, what do you want to say, crookedness?
There's corruption in every county.
And I think he's a little on the, how do we say, right side with Sammy and her family.
Well, we'll see. Well, Mama Bullhorn, I got a few people in the chat, and it was lovely chatting with you.
I gotta go. Your stepdad will be home, and I don't have anything done. I've got a garage door opener to install before he gets home.
All right, Mom. Well, you take care, and I love you.
Love you.
It was nice chatting with you. Many people don't know I chat with them more than I chat with my own mother.
Absolutely. I watch you on TV just so I can get my fill, because you're so busy.
All right, Mom. I love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Ruby, I'm going to go ahead and bring you forward. Sorry about that. I know you were waiting for a while, but
oh, that's okay.
Mama with Mama
Bullhorn, I'm from Arkansas. Was it French Hill that was calling you? Because I've been getting his phone calls and I'm sick and tired of them.
French Hill.
Congressman French Hill.
Yeah. So Ruby,
Yeah.
I've got somebody in the back, still in the back chat, and just wanted to see what you think. I haven't even gotten into the timeline, but just this little bit of stuff I pulled up here is already taking off. People are already conversating about this.
Right. Well, I just wanted to touch on a couple of observations that I've made from your show yesterday and Dolly's show last night. With Sammy, I am getting some real serious Regina George and Jodi Arias vibes from her, and that is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with Jodi Arias?
Oh yeah, I don't know who isn't. I mean, she
Okay.
was,
Well, you know how methodical and detailed she was.
yes, I do. Yep.
I'm getting that vibe from Sammy after she called me at 12:36, and then all this precise time stuff.
Well, now we know damn well Kiely could never have called her.
Why exactly.
A specific time instead of a vague time. I mean, that was with specificity. Think about it. 12:36, not around 12:30 or 12:35 somewhere.
Right. It's 12:36. Yeah. That's a weird specific time. Right. And it just and the whole teen meeting thing and all that reminded me of Jodi, calling Detective Flores and saying, my name is Jodi Arias and I was a really good friend of Travis's and I just want to help and what she was doing was she was trying to figure out what they knew. Mm-hmm. And that's when he dumped it on her. Well, all Travis's friends say you're the one that killed him. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No way.
Maybe we need to go back. Maybe that's what we will do. Maybe we'll go back and see some similarities between Jodi Arias and some of the stuff that Sammy Smith did. That would be.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's definitely. I think she's definitely a Regina George, take charge and order everybody around.
She definitely knew if this was her that concocted this thing and why Kiely was strapped in the back. That concerns me.
Yeah, and which brings me back to Nick, the tow truck driver. I agree with you about how, the story didn't fit. But then last night on Dolly's channel, when it came out about that strap and that seatbelt back there, I thought, oh, dear God, maybe it was. Maybe this guy's really telling the truth. And this was Sammy and some guy, and Kiely was dead in the back trunk, in the back hatch. And that's why they were staying so close to the windows. Remember how he talked about how they weren't together, that they'd go to the opposite sides of the car. Mm-hmm. And how so it sounds like they were trying to keep him from seeing in the back of that car. And right. and asking those weird questions. I mean, those questions are too weird to just make up off the top of your head.
Yeah, but I keep wondering, like, even if the reason why I kind of bounce back and forth with whether it was like something like where she died there, whether it was a combination of something she did to herself or something somebody else did to her. Mm-hmm. But it's the act of, if it was truly safe, just like an OD or something like that, why didn't they just leave her there? Or why did they load her in her car and just leave her in her car to be found? Why would they feel the need to hide her or to strap her in and sink her to a bottom of a lake? They're just, with that action, to me personally, I just feel like there's more there than just scared kids. Yeah,
definitely, because they're probably guilty of being the ones who gave her the drugs she OD'd on, or I
would have just left. I wouldn't touch anything. I wouldn't put my hands on anything, especially with Sammy being from parents with lawyers. I mean, you would think that she would have just walked away if she was there when this happened, because,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did get in the car and charge their phones and that kind of stuff. So maybe by pushing her in the water, she wanted to wash all that evidence away.
Who told us that? Hold on. Who told us they went in their car to charge their phone? Who told us that?
Oh yeah, she did.
Okay, this is a girl that came to a party that did not come in that vehicle. She was never supposed to leave in that vehicle. For all intents and purposes, she was never supposed to be sitting, touching, or anything in that vehicle. Nobody knew that Sammy was going to be inside that vehicle at all. So she's telling us that she got in that vehicle. She's telling us that she charged her phone. She's introducing why her fingerprints and
yeah, which is the same thing Jody Arias did. I stayed at that house all the time. I cleaned Travis's house. Of course my hair's there. Of course my DNA's there, fingerprints and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it sounds just like Jody.
There might be more there. They may not have charged that phone because many of you guys watch Dolly. Apparently my mom's a fan. He stated out front that he thought that text message to her mom never came from her.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so either. And her saying that she texted me at 12:36 and said, do you got a ride home? Well, now wait a minute. Didn't you just say y'all said your goodbyes and hugged each other and went on your merry way? Why would she need to call you again and ask you, do you got a ride?
Right. So
he kind of busted her in a lie.
Yeah. All right, Ruby, do you have any other points to make?
No, that's all for right now until, something else comes.
I love your voice. You're cute as a button, by the way.
Do what?
I said, I love your voice. You're cute as a button, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, have a great day, and we'll.
Okay, you too. Did you get my email?
I probably did. I was going through literally over this Kiely Rodni case. I've got email full, so I'm working.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to say thank you to all of them, but it's taking me some time. So if I haven't.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
All right, hon. Have a great one.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye bye. Well, Rob, if you want to, if you can stay on, but I'm going to go ahead and bring you up now. So just to let you know, you're coming up now. Hey.
Oh, sorry about my dogs.
That's okay. We're animal friendly here.
Last night Dolly pointed out. I'm about to put them upstairs. Sorry. The strap coming out the back.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get rid of them. I'm sorry. Give me 20 seconds.
Okay. I'll go back to me, and while he does that, I'll go ahead and mute his thing. Man, we got a lot of Dollyvision fans on here. I can't believe Mama Bullhorn. She's up. She didn't even say hi to me. Miss Robin, who else was up in Dolly's chat? If you guys were in Dolly's chat this morning, put a 1 in the box. All right. There we go. Oh, let me get you back on the screen. There you go.
I'm coming 1 second. All right, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Did Dolly point out the strap through the window last night?
To be honest with you, I only started watching around 3 a.m. when I woke up.
Well, I'm just going to show it to you what I think it is so you could assess it, okay? Uh-huh. And so your people viewing could try to assess it. Understand this is her driver's side. Now that we understand that seatbelt would be down here, correct?
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull you up to the front. I wish I was able to pick which one. Oh, here we go. There you go.
Okay. And it's probably going to be reversed to you guys, but this is the driver's side where he's getting ready to come around and reveal that he, seen the body.
Mm-hmm.
And now we understand that seatbelt's down here. If I click play, you could see that seatbelt, Dolly, straight to her waist. I'm going to show it to you. Started at 37.40-ish. Hang on a second. 1 second. You see that seatbelt right there, Dolly? Reflection coming off it, heading straight towards her waistline.
Wow.
And watch it on AWP's video so you could see it clearly. Yeah. And it blew my mind because none of us knew to look for that. Nobody knew about a seatbelt on the roof.
Right. That's why I said, Adventures with Purpose, we have to understand they are also YouTubers. They gave us YouTubers everything that we needed to kind of piece what happened under there together. And they did it very crafty because they know we were going to overanalyze that entire video, and that's exactly what we did. And we found things like potentially broken axles, which the axle, when they were looking at it, No, because that was in part of the video. I was going to say they may have broke the axle so they would roll, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's
I'd like you just to assess the video, maybe some of your viewers. Like I said, that looks plain as day like a seatbelt to me, and we all understand it's on the driver's side.
Yep.
Coming off the roof. You can see the reflection, the width,
Mm-hmm.
Heading to where we think she's strapped right to her waist, I think.
Yeah. It makes me wonder because I really think there's something with this tow truck driver. I just can't put my finger on it because I believe him. I really believe him. And
I didn't until now.
Yeah.
Maybe she was wearing that gray t-shirt. They don't have any reason to doubt him.
Yeah.
Gray t-shirt, seatbelt thing kept,
right.
kept insisting seatbelt.
Purpose making such a foolish. I mean, we as creators do throw things in, and then we find out they're irrelevant later, and we have to go back either verbally say that was incorrect, or go back and cut it out of the video and do that. I prefer going and just saying that it was incorrect or doing a video about it. However, I have to believe that they did some due diligence. I mean, I don't see them being irresponsible. They seem very well equipped to do their own due diligence about these things. And so when he came up, and I heard, Carson was on this channel. We had Jared on Zav's channel. We had, Doug on Popcorn Planet's channel. And they're all saying the same thing, that, look, guys, we realize this is an odd, this is an odd event, but we would never have put this in the video if we didn't think it meant something. What does that something mean? But there's got to be a reason for him. I mean, he had way too much critical information. Neutral, seatbelt. Were these trigger words? Is this to flush a killer out, or is this because something truly happened that is as bizarre as it sounds?
Yeah, I have no clue. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm overthinking things, and sometimes I'm, think I'm not thinking about things enough.
This is how you go down rabbit holes. You see what I'm saying? This is how it happens, because things don't make sense, and you're trying to make sense. And the further you go, the more you start connecting things that aren't there, because you're searching and searching and searching. And when you're doing it, 1 + 1 = 2. But when you look at it collectively and come out of that hole, you realize that 1 + 1 in this case = 6. So, that's how it does happen.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I just want to point that out so maybe your viewers could go check it out.
Oh, I will.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day, Dolly.
I appreciate it. Please keep supporting the channel.
No problem. You too. Yep, no problem.
Okay, your favorite obsession. I'm going to go ahead and bring you forward. I did go ahead and see your face behind the scenes. Hello.
Hello. I just wanted to point out with the tow truck guy, I actually do believe his statement, because if we go back and look at the timeline, her mom went to Starbucks the next morning waiting for her. In the timeline, it was not reported that she was a missing person until later that afternoon.
Yeah, it says here that it was actually 5:47 on August 6th when she was officially reported as a missing person.
Exactly. So if he's seen her at 11, I mean, there could be some truth behind his story. But I also believe it was probably a different friend. There's too many blonde friends that
and there's too many. Let's be honest. A silver CRV, a 2013 CRV, is a very popular make and model of a car. And here's why. Especially for teenagers. They're safer. They have a higher safety rating on them. They're economical, for an SUV. So there's a lot of Honda, especially, and they keep their values well because it's a Honda. So these are the things. So there's a lot of Hondas out there for these teenage kids to be driving in. An SUV is a very popular body style. A Honda is a very popular make, and a CRV is a very popular model. So is it possible that this is? And somebody else in one of these chats said that they had seen a car going toward Arizona, and the first 3 numbers on the license plate match Kiely. Clearly, we know it wasn't Kiely. So could it just be one of these things where this car just happened to have a few numbers on the license plate that may be consistent with Kiely's, and it just happened to be a silver Honda CRV? I mean, California's got a big population.
Yeah. Well, that was all I was wanting to point out about the
Yeah.
timeline.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of on it because I feel like there's something there, and I feel like I'm missing. You know, this is what I feel like right now. I feel like I'm missing it, and I know exactly why I'm missing it. I'm missing it because I really truly don't believe she left Prosser. That's why it's not making sense to me. I truly do not believe her car left Prosser. It seems like everything happened in and around Prosser. That's where her car was found. That's where the party was. That's where her phone stopped working at. That's everything. Everything was right there. And so that's why I'm having a hard time opening my brain to allow myself to accept this other alternate theory of her going over to Boca Reserve.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's
all
just
right.
me.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. It's nice to hear you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Tanya, I'm going to go ahead and bring you forward. How you doing, babe?
I'm good.
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to throw out there just maybe a little monkey wrench in there with the AAA guy or whatever he was. I don't know what to call him, van guy, tow truck. I don't know. But I would just like to say that, you know, I know he's supposed to have saw her Saturday, the day after. And for me, if my days run together on the things that I do, but he thought something was suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, the news was just starting to get out about her disappearance. I don't think when he saw the flyer that it brought his memory because of her picture. I'm thinking maybe it's like he connected the dots because he saw the car.
And then he probably remembered the blonde, the weird thing, and probably
the car. And then he could like compare VIN numbers or compare tag numbers because I think with these service records, if they have an account, it's going to be registered by the tag or by the VIN number of that vehicle that has the account. So he may know that car and not noticed her picture. So if they are showing news reports of this missing girl, that's probably why it's like, it's not something that jumped out to him until he saw a picture of the car. Then it's like, oh, snap, 2 + 2 = 4 here. And then, of course, why he didn't like respond if he thought something was suspicious about them. I know with today's culture of, let's sue you for everything that you do or don't do, it's like they don't give kind of men an opportunity to be men these days, because if you do step into something and it's not what you think it is, then you're going to be the one that gets sued, or your company's going to get sued. I mean, it's like they're telling people when you get robbed, hey, just let them have what they want, instead of fighting back.
Man, that's what they're teaching now is such a polar opposite from what they taught us when we were younger.
Right. So those two things could factor into that, but I would think that he probably recognized the car once they started putting pictures of her missing car, and then it's like, oh crap, and reached out. But I don't
tell you, when you came on here the other day, I did not hear, because I go back and watch, the lives because it gives me an opportunity to read some of the comments and, I miss them. Everybody in here, they're like, oh, I'm sure you're ignoring me. It's like, I'm not ignoring you. I'm running a show. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not reading. So I do go back and read them. And I miss the fact that you said you were a published author. I was, right. I'm sorry for not picking up on that. And I know you said it because I heard it clear, but I didn't hear it when you came up yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I didn't want to make that a focus. I just wanted to bring that up just because that's how my brain works, by putting together plot lines and characters and seeing how those small, tiny details is what really makes your story. So I'm tuned into those. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of didn't even want to say that, but I wanted to kind of give you a background of the way that my brain
works. Yeah. What do you think about now, what is your honest opinion about the whole tow truck driver? Do you think that, it's possible that Kiely, because it sounds, if he was introduced, what he's saying is true, and it truly was Kiely or somebody in Kiely's car, right, then we can kind of connect the dots that sounds like she was more likely abducted and injured or something to that effect. So she would have left, and then they would have had to take her back. Think about the implications of that theory, that suggestion. Right. I mean, this means you're talking about something more nefarious than I think many of us, thought.
I do think it's very nefarious. And I think too, I guess to say my prejudice is going to come from the fact that I watched Adventures with Purpose way back when. I mean, I've literally been following them for probably 2.5 years. And I have watched them grow, and I've watched them, the way that they attack things. And they are guys with such high integrity, but their show is their livelihood. This is how these guys provide for their families. And I just cannot believe with anything that they're going to risk their career, their livelihood on something that they are not 100% sure. And they've already kind of hinted they know a lot more than what they've told us. And it sounds like they were contacted by all of the different agencies, the police, the FBI, and everything before they even got into town.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah,
I'm sure they have been in constant contact, and it's because of maybe what other investigations are going on. They can't release everything they need to release. That's going to connect all these dots that we're not able to connect. But I'm trusting by their integrity. And just seeing the expressions on their faces when they did discover the vehicle where they were told not to go, they're in strange territory compared to what they're normally in. But their integrity is, I mean, because all of them, Carson, all of them were on all of the shows the days of the release of their video and the several days after, because they want to make sure their narrative is put out there and it's not just squashed and it's not sequestered, because they're putting their reputation and their livelihood on it's on the mark, that it's a win, lose, or, win all or lose all on this, and I don't think they wouldn't do it without an assurity. So we may not know what this tow truck guy has to offer yet. We only saw a bit of it.
And we were, people have been speculating that this car was introduced into the water much later than any of us had anticipated. Yeah. And I think that does kind of bode with the tow truck driver. And I acknowledge that. I just, right now, I mean, they have not come out with any kind of, digital footprint that puts her over in Boca. They don't have any evidence from the car that puts her over in Boca, but I do, I just don't know what to believe, because law enforcement has gone dark on us.
Right.
Which tells me there's more going on behind the scenes than any of us know.
Sometimes silence speaks louder than words and stuff that they're putting out. No, I believe she was killed that night. I do believe she was either dead either before the party, because there's really no evidence. I mean, I'm with Upchurch on this. There's no evidence of her being there other than the people who are suspects saying that she was there. There's no evidence of her behavior while she was there, except from the suspects who were there. So the narrative has been created by the people that are suspect.
Right.
It could be true, may not be true, but I think something happened to that little girl sometime on Friday. I believe she was dead and in the back of that car if it was seen on Saturday, because I don't think AWP is going to put their stuff on the line for false information that they have not verified. It's just like
for them, even if it comes out to not pan out, their information wasn't false, because they came out and said very quickly that they're about 90 to 94% sure that the information is going to pan out. So they're still, but they're highly confident, I think, is more in line with their position.
Right. And so I'm going to go on the assumption of their reputation. Like I said, having known them, I don't know these kids. I don't know this law enforcement. But I've been watching them for a few years now, and on their reputation, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in this scenario and wait to see how it's played out, because they've told us they have more to say. And they've been dropping little hints of different things that have put us on different trajectories, having us look at different things we weren't looking at before. And So I'm thinking they're trying to lead us where they can't tell us yet.
Exactly. And that's what I felt that video was. If, we, at first, I think when we first watched it, we were all just in shock. But then after the shock subsides, then we go into the overanalyzation process of every little movement and detail of that car. Stop, pause, go, pause, go, pause, go, pause. All of us creators have done it. Maybe even some of our audience has even done it.
Well, even taking in account too that, like I said yesterday, I think there's 3 storms that were happening at the same time, and some of it is overlapping, which causes like, wait a minute, this don't fit with this, but doesn't mean it's not connected. It just means it don't fit with this because it was its own storm on its own. It just happened to merge together, and overlap with each other, because there may be a simple party, somebody OD, things like that. But then there could be, it overlapped with this whole other thing that's going on over here. And that is causing things not to make sense to us, because normally if it was just this thing, this is kind of how things should have played out. But because it's not playing out in that type of scenario, there's this other entity, this other purpose that's going on that's suppressing it. What is it up? Is it corrupt cops? Is it, because of the whole fentanyl thing that's going on in that area? There's a lot of kids who died recently in that area from fentanyl overdoses and stuff. So it could be a combination of a couple of things. So I'm not going to say, this is all just these kids. There, there's a love triangle. Things going on. Who knows?
I think we're going to find out that Kiely, this is what I just assumed. And I think we're going to find out that Kiely, even though she was a great, smart, young child that was doing fabulous things and very talented, that we're going to find out she dabbled a little bit too much into things that she shouldn't have been dabbling into at such a young age.
Yep.
Whether that contributed to her death or not, I don't know. But I can tell you, without telling you, it does sound like her, it sounded like she was the smart one in her group. She was the one that was excelling better than everybody else. But she hung around a lot of people. Well, a lot of people that wasn't up to her standard, like her,
Right. But that's my biggest question. Why was Kiely at this party with none of her so-called lifelong friends, people she has been friends with since she was a child? None of them were there.
Because they looked you know what? I did think about that. I processed that, Tanya. I did. I kind of thought about that. You're right. I did ask myself that very question. And the assumption, the opinion that I came up with was that, they may be potheads, but I don't think they're partiers.
Right. And I think that's the point. She's just recently, maybe the last year, maybe the last few months, which is causing these rifts in her normal friendships. That's why she broke up with her boyfriend. That's why her and her friends haven't been that close, because she started hanging out with new people, doing new things. She's being rebellious a little bit because, she's been sheltered, it seems like, most of her life. And, big changes are coming. And that's a lot of stress for any kid to handle.
And I think you're onto something, because remember the statement that we all thought was odd from a Jagger that night, where he says, "Don't do anything stupid."
Don't do anything stupid. And I think, she could have even have been, self-destructive. She, when you get into partying, because, I went through my party stage too. And
you're absolutely, I did too. You just heard about the Bullhorn. I mean, it was an ugly part of my life. I had a horrible child, I had a lot of stuff, but my childhood was pretty traumatic for me.
Scared and rebellious, and then just getting, and I can tell you 99% of the time, the people who pay for the things that we do in this life are most often the most innocent, the most naive, because the ones that do it constantly seem to always get away with it. And, and they grow up and they're like us now. They're looking back going, oh, my God, how did I survive that? Yeah. But it's those innocents who kind of don't know how to handle. Because to me, it's all a social experiment. High school and everything is all a social experiment. That's where you learn to say no. That's where you learn to take up for yourself. That's where you learn, you develop your personality and everything. Yeah. And she's, like, she was just kind of fresh and new to the whole thing. And she got into the wrong things.
This might just be a classic case of a sheltered kid that gets a little bit of, freedom.
Right. And it just got out of hand. And, and like I said, none of it is like all totally innocent. But a lot of times it's the innocent ones that pay the cost the most. And it seems like she's paid that cost. But I don't believe it was just that, even though that happens all the time.
Yeah.
This case is odd in every sense. And I do strongly feel it's because another thing of my background of what comes in, my father was an international drug dealer. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about little time. He was part of the Gulf Cartel in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So I saw human trafficking. I saw how cartels work. So when I first started, my first thought when I started seeing this thing is like, who is this girl? Whose daughter is she? Why is this girl important? Because there's hundreds of kids that go missing every week from parties, and it's not national news. Mm-hmm. So what is it about this girl? And then it doesn't seem like she was connected to anybody. So then it was like, okay, what else is going on? Saw a lot of stings, saw a lot of different things that are going on. And it sounds to me she just got caught up in the middle of bigger storms that, I think that's what we're going to find out. Yeah. And I think that's why, it's scaring everybody, because people are scared and they're not scared for no reason.
Yeah. I worry, I'm disgusted with everything. But anyways, Tanya, thank you for spending some time with us this morning. It's always lovely to hear from you, and I hope you come back.
All right. No problem.
Thank you, hon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Merja, I'm going to go ahead and pull you forward. So if you want to, keep on your camera, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and bring you up now. Hi. Your voice. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted my mic. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I'm sitting on the balcony having a cigarette. But anyway, I'm just thinking about this thing as 30, 30, 30, or 33, 33, 33. No one has considered maybe assisted suicide.
But would she want to commit suicide? I mean, she was planning on going on a camping trip. She was, she had some things going on. She was getting ready to leave to go to medical school.
I have about like 4 friends who have just vanished, who have done that without them saying anything or anything. We just thought they were happy, go lucky, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they're gone.
Wow. That's a little scary.
It is. And no one has considered that factor into this case, that maybe she just wanted it, you know what I mean? Especially with the tow truck driver, if that is true, that she wanted to see, like, how do I actually make sure that I'm in the car, that someone can find me. And also the fact that Jagger put the post that
she never called road service
or something like that.
Yeah.
And she never called road service, and the fact that he put up what was it? I hope you found your peace. Something like that. I hope you found your peace. Something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's just my thought about it. About that side. Yeah. But then I have also about, like, I talked to my dad about it, and my dad has like a similar car, and it's like there's no way she's climbed back there by herself, water coming in or whatever, being intoxicated, if she was, that she could have climbed back there by herself. So I have that as well. Mm-hmm. That is foul play. Like, okay, fair enough, foul play. And accident, absolutely. Then I'm thinking, okay, she might have climbed there back in the back by herself when she realized, okay, water's coming in. I'm gonna just go into the back where the air is. You know what I mean? So I'm confused. I'm confused
Yeah, because I'm thinking, she had to
think.
have known at the time the water was coming in that passenger window was open. If she was going to move from the front to the back, you would think that she would have at least tried to get out one of the windows. And not only that, but in the back seat, the other window.
Maybe she tried to roll it out.
There was
I
one
no
window.
idea about.
Yeah, but the driver or the front passenger window was completely removed or rolled down or broken, just not there. And then the one directly behind the driver's side, the driver in the back, that one was down halfway. And they said that Kiely was small enough that she could have went through it. So she had a window in the front of the car and one in the back of the car that she could have went out of. And it still doesn't explain how she was strapped in to the back. Well, unless there was the assisted suicide theory, which she doesn't appear. Nobody has said anything about her state of mind or being depressed or anything of that nature. In all intents and purposes, she looked pretty happy.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be depressed because honestly, like the people that I have known who have done the deed, they haven't. I haven't noticed that they've been depressed at all. You know what I mean? They're happy. They're the best people in the world. They're really, really like on a level of more than happy. Let's put it that way. And all of a sudden they're gone. But anyway, with the thing of, as you said, it was a passenger side, driver side window, whatever, in the front. I'm Swedish.
That's okay.
So my first language is not English, but
you're doing great. I can understand everything you say. So.
Okay, thank you. So it was the driver's side passenger window that was like broken out.
Yeah.
And that's what I told my dad, and my dad was like, nah. That is not an accident. It's foul play. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to think anymore. I really don't. And
we definitely know she couldn't. If she was in, even if she wasn't strapped into the back hatch, we definitely know by her being in the back hatch, the probability of her going back there after she's underwater is very low percentage to get her in that position. So
none.
There was definitely, no matter how there's definitely somebody that put this car in there that was not Kiely. And the way she looked, I've watched this, and it's sad because I hate some of the stuff, especially with this case that I've had to look at and watch. It's pretty disturbing. But people that are struggling for their life, even if you are intending to go underwater, your body naturally does things naturally, subconsciously, when you're in a position like that, and you're grasping for air and stuff like that, you're fighting, none of that seemed to be exhibited in the back of that, at least from my assessment. Of course, we have a small little window, literally, that we're getting information from. But it didn't look like she was struggling in the back as what I would expect from a body naturally dying.
Exactly. Yeah. That's I can agree with that, absolutely. And honestly, like as I said, my dad said, no, there's no way you can get to the back unless someone put you there, because he has like a similar car, and I've looked at it and I'm just like, nah, no one climbed in there or tried to get in there. But that's the thing. I'm so confused about this. I'm so confused about this case. It's just we can flip and turn all these theories about how this has happened until we know. But at the same time, if they come out and say this, that, or the other, we're still gonna have our theories.
Right. Donna Cooper, I just checked Instagram. I didn't see a message from you, just to let you know. If you want to send me something and you can't get it to me through Instagram, please email it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. That's bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Okay, Mirja, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, I just wanted to add maybe she was just wanted to go. Maybe she just wanted to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is a possibility. Absolutely, it's definitely a perspective that we should explore, because we do not know what was going on here, and
Exactly.
could it
We
possibly
don't know.
be an assisted suicide? Maybe.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know nothing. Okay, thank you.
All right, hon. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Terry, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on up. I already saw your face. You don't need to show it to me again.
Thank you.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Oh, do I have the notes here? Okay.
I know you're probably like me, like I'm taking notes. It's like I need to be in there with my computer. I type faster than I write.
Oh, I know. The thing with Sammy, she was so specific on some of the things that she was saying. Like, she was sitting in the passenger seat when she talked to Kiely. Well, number one, Kiely was supposed to, I believe, leave before Sammy, but Sammy left first. They talked. Sammy knew she was drunk. If Sammy was already leaving, why didn't she come back and get Kiely? Number two, if they were such good friends, she probably would have done that. But it goes to the whole drug thing. Sammy had made the comment that they had just become closer the last few months.
Yeah.
Which would give credence to Jager saying, don't do anything stupid. It's a new friend. She's not hanging out with her regular friends. She got caught up with Sammy and the drugs. And I think she accidentally overdosed. And they tried to cover it up.
But you know what? Let's play devil's advocate though. Tara, hold on one second. Let me respond to this person. But let's play devil's advocate here. What if everybody's telling the truth? What if Sammy really did leave at the time that she left? What if she left her friend there? What if it was some other person that was attending this party that took advantage of Kiely in her degraded state and did this unbeknownst to anybody else?
That's a big what if.
It is a big what if, but there is the probability there. I can tell you that, you know, I've been looking through and trying to reach out to some, you know, people and reading on this and reading on that. It doesn't sound like, even with, you know, no matter what we heard from Sammy, which also gives me problems with her credibility, is that this party got out of control and people were crazy. But then she goes back and states that, oh, you know, this was the biggest party, but no, the fights were all controlled. You know, nobody had any animosity toward each other and stuff like that. And believe it or not, I have been doing some due diligence of my own, and it sounds like the play fights are accurate. Nobody really got out of hand. It really was play fighting.
Right.
And so, you know, that she was being honest there. But what she wasn't being honest about is that this party was, you know, there were scary people there and things like that. And it doesn't appear that there was a whole bunch of guys that were crowding them, you know, kind of like what was embellished at the beginning. From what I'm finding out, it doesn't appear that was the complete case or the complete truth.
Right. Well, and it kind of goes back to what I said as far as the drugs. You know, maybe, you know, Sammy is into selling or whatever. It might, you know, I don't know. Everything is speculation right now. And her and Kiely have become close recently. She's like, oh, here, try this. Something happened with Kiely. She accidentally, you know, somehow died. And now Sammy needs to cover her tracks. Okay.
Yeah, and we definitely know something. We know things were out there. You know, it's just what was it? And you know, people are saying that they don't think the toxicology and the autopsy and everything will be released. It may not. You know, we may have redacted stuff that we're going to have to review. But this autopsy and this toxicology will not be under wraps for too long, especially if somebody's arrested in this, because they have to use that to convict them with. So we're going to find out the whole story, because I have a funny feeling somebody will be arrested. There is no way that child got back there and latched in by herself. She didn't do that. She didn't do this to herself. something happened and somebody's going to have to be held accountable for that.
Right. Well, that's the other, I was thinking about that too. I haven't heard anywhere, but did the airbags deploy? Do we know?
It didn't appear so, because we did get some angles inside the car and I didn't see any airbags go off. And it's my understanding that the sensors in these cars, they deploy at 5 miles. Some deploy as low as 5 miles an hour, up to 15 miles an hour. It could be off a few miles, but it's not a heavy impact. It's not a high speed impact that triggers those airbags. It's actually anything above a certain speed.
Right. Okay. So. Yeah, and and if it was an accident, and maybe she did accidentally get in there, she hit the water, was temporarily knocked out, and when she came to, she was already underwater. So she's fighting for any way to get out. At that point, you're not going to see that a window is open.
Yeah, that's possible, but I just don't. I would think that I would probably go, feel around from the front to the back first. I wouldn't just go straight to the back. I would be even in the darkness, I would try to be feeling around, trying to find something.
Right.
So I don't know. And not only that, but even if she did go to the back, how did she get strapped in, and how did the strap get on the outside of the hatch?
Right. Yep.
So it's like, we look at one thing and it's like, oh yeah. And then we look at another thing. It's like, oh shoot.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
So it's a puzzle right now. We're putting together a puzzle that has no instructions. It has no picture.
Right. One more thing, Adventures with Purpose, bless them. You were talking earlier about them giving, just like little tidbits, they're dropping little tidbits here and there. So everybody kind of thinks about it, tries to put it together. Do you think Upchurch is doing the same thing?
Is Upchurch doing the same thing? What?
As far as throwing questions out there,
honestly, just not to cut you off, but honestly, I think Upchurch is making us all dig deeper.
Yes. Yep.
And I think he's making us use our head.
Yep.
I think he's making us think outside the box. I mean, no matter what, even if I don't agree with him, he's making me work harder.
Yes.
He's making me dig deeper. He's it's not, there's not, people have their opinion. To be honest with you, I've met this guy literally 2 times in my life, had no idea who he was until I got on the streets of YouTube. And, I can't remember when it was the Summer Wells case that I found him organically.
Okay.
And I felt bad for him. So, but I didn't know him, and he came on here and, it was a little uncomfortable at the beginning, but him and I, chatted for a little bit, and we kind of understood each other's, understood each other a little better,
Right.
It's all about understanding.
Yep.
And then last night, on Dolly, to me, he's just chill. He's chill.
Yep.
He just wants, he's curious. He wants to understand. And,
Right.
I like anybody, not necessarily, I'm the kind of person, I don't have the mind of an engineer, but I still like to see how things function.
Sure. Absolutely. And I would love to be inside his brain. Just the things that he talks about and the things that he comes up with, you think, oh yeah, that's a possibility. And then him going out there and saying that, these YouTubers, not you obviously, but are, just blurting out things. Well, it could be this, it could be this. Why don't, think about it. Just think about it. With him saying Kiely wasn't real. That kind of came in with that picture, the 3 girls in the back seat of that car, that people are saying that was Kiely, and it wasn't.
Think about what he did when he did that. We were all blinded by what he was saying.
Yep.
But think about what he did.
Yep.
We had literally nothing on this girl.
Correct.
And because of his statement, look at all the photos, look at all the videos, look at everything that we now have, and we can credit Ryan Upchurch for everything that we have related to this party that has come out since him saying that she was not real.
Absolutely.
Just think of how brilliant that strategy was.
100%.
We've got party people now. We're starting to uncover names now. We're starting to identify people at this party now.
Yep.
This was all as a thank you to Upchurch. Yeah, we didn't agree with it. We didn't understand where he was going with it. Did he really believe it, or was he just making people think outside the box and work 10 times harder. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. And basically that's what everybody else is doing too. It's like, well, what if this or maybe that, or, everybody's taking everybody's information and kind of trying to dig more into it. But I agree. I think what Upchurch did was 100% making people think.
Yeah.
Outside the box.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, well, this happened and this happened and this happened in this picture, Kylie's in this picture. No, she wasn't.
We had literally no photos. I mean, granted, the photos are coming in slow, but we're getting them.
Yep.
Because everybody just has to prove Ryan Upchurch wrong.
Right. And I think it's because he's not
Was
the
this
norm.
the first psychology sting by Ryan Upchurch?
I think it is. I honestly think it is. I think he's a very, very smart man. I don't know him from Adam. I mean, my son listens to his music and, just seeing him on YouTube and stuff, but people hear what he says and they just jump off the cliff and, Ryan, this always crazy. And, is he high? Probably. He's probably higher than a kite. But you know what? I think his brain works a lot better than a lot of these other people.
He's an over-functioning person. You can tell because he works. He's a workaholic, and
yes.
You can kind of identify yourself. It's kind of crazy because you can identify the people that really work hard. Like for me, for example, guess what? Dolly was up at 3 a.m. Ryan Upchurch was up at 3 a.m. I was up at 3 a.m. Anissa was up at 3 a.m. Mama Bullhorn was up at 3 a.m. These are high functioning people. Let me tell you right now, I mean, the people that are really we're up at 3 a.m. and don't go to sleep until midnight. So
right. Yep. Yeah. And I think a lot of people owe him not so much, a lot of credit for what he has done by coming out and saying all these things and causing the stir.
You know what? It took balls. I gotta, if nothing more, not only is he chill, he's got some brass ones, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's going to say it like it is, whether people like it or not.
Yeah.
But good for him.
No, I am Team Summer. I don't think they're. Yeah, I agree. Ryan is not a druggie by any means. I'm sure he's probably,
Right. No, I agree. I think it's, I mean, but nowadays who doesn't smoke? Well,
right. And then what was crazy is that they were trying to say that he was on some kind of weird drug. It's like, dude, I'm just your Mama Bullhorn. I mean, Bullhornbetty was, granted, I wasn't out there for like years or anything. It only took me 6 months from the top to the bottom. That's it. That's all it took. And it almost cost me my life. And it took me a lifetime to recover from that 6 months. And I'm still recovering from that 6 months.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, we know our kind. I'm sorry. I can go anywhere and look into a crowd. And if I really wanted to go and score something, I know exactly who I would need to find in that crowd.
Right. Yep.
That's what we so I know my kind. And I'm telling you, I don't see that in him.
And I'm not saying anything. To me, I think does he smoke
I wasn't
weed?
saying it about yours. There was a couple comments in the chat.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. And I wasn't saying he was high on something else. I meant smoking pot. I mean.
Yeah. No, I got what you meant. I was just.
Okay.
I addressed some of the things in the chat.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. If he was on anything else, I don't think he'd be able to think the way he does. He wouldn't be able to come out with what he comes out with.
And not only that, but he stays on these things for hours and hours. Dude, sorry, you ain't getting that from a druggie. They'll be gone every 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, like I said, I don't know the guy from Adam. I've listened to a few of his songs, don't really care for them, but I have such respect for him for what he's done.
Yeah. He definitely took one on the chin. He kept on going. And I gotta say, he's got some diehard fans because even with all the controversy, like I've had controversy with me and people flee. They're like, oh my God, we gotta go. Right. His people are like, screw y'all. We're staying with church.
Yep.
We got you, church.
That's right. We got your back. We got your back.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got some diehard fans. So, God bless them. God bless all of them. God bless the people that support him. God bless, the work that he does. I know this is not his forte, but damn, he's, really making us work and step up our game.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's exactly, I've thought that the whole time. That's exactly what he's doing is he's making all these other people. Oh, here's a picture of Kiely. No, and that's where Kylie's not real.
Yeah.
She's not real in this picture. This isn't her.
Yeah. Prove it.
Right.
Want to run with a story? Prove it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Yep.
Smart man.
Yep. Yep. Smarter than me. I can tell you that.
Me too.
All right, hon. Well, thanks for coming and joining with us.
Absolutely. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aw, thank you, Marja. Thank you. I appreciate that. So sweet. So sweet. Love it. Love it. So, guys, we're kind of wrapping up the end of this segment. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one today. I've got so much to go through, and I've got I think my emails are up into the thousands now. So I really probably need to try to find some additional information that's new and fresh, that's not being, tatted around and stuff like that. But this is the timeline. I know we really didn't go over it. That's what happens when I prepare for something, the audience kind of runs the channel. You guys want to talk about this? We'll talk about this. You want to talk about that? We'll talk about that. No big deal. So, but definitely love all you guys coming in here. I know we have a lot of new faces coming in here. We're trying to keep it, I'm trying to keep, facts and opinions and speculations kind of free flowing here, because we are so blinded by all of this. We don't know what's going on. We have lack of information. Law enforcement's shut down. They've gone dark. The kids at these parties have gone dark. The photos weren't existing. And again, I think we kind of, brought the balance here. What was church really doing? I don't know what Upchurch was doing. I really don't. Does he believe this? Was he trying to make us work? I don't know. I don't care, because at the end of the day, the ending result is we got more info. We got more intel. We got more info. It made us get up off our butts and really dig in and do the work. So, at the end of the day, that is a plus. That is a positive. And we like positive things. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed this segment, and we'll continue to roll stuff out as information becomes available. So if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. If you want to be a partner, you can do it by several ways. We're constantly going out on things. So if you want to help support our next project, consider donating to Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. If you'd like to support the channel, maybe on a monthly basis, we do have a Join Me feature on here. And for all those that just, really want to support this channel, but just don't really want to contribute financially, you can still. You know how you do it? You like this video, you watch this video, and you share this video. And every one of those things you can do free of charge, and it still helps Bullhorn Betty and this channel. So with that, guys, I thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you found some of this valuable, and I hope to see you guys back tomorrow. And don't forget, we do a lot here. I want everyone to be fearless. And if you see something, you say something. That is the motto here. We have to be advocates in this world of unknowns, in this dangerous, scary world. And so it's no longer when you feel uncomfortable, we just look the other way and walk the other way. We really have to dig deep inside and find out, should we report it? Because an ounce of prevention is damn sure worth a pound of cure. Take care.
Step one, wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.